The case of Johnson versus the School District of Millard. It was heard by the State Supreme Court of Nebraska in 1998. The plaintiff alleged that the first grade music teacher was negligent and did not properly supervise the students in her care. The first grade music teacher was teaching the students the song London Bridges. After they learned the song, she was going to teach them, and did teach them, the game London Bridges, where two students lock their arms and one student is in the middle. The two students with locked arms then swing the third student back and forth in between the locked arms. She asked two students to come up and to show the other students of how to play this game so that they could play it safely. Now she asked the students not to be silly playing the game or wild so that there wouldn't be anyone getting injured. Now, after she had shown these students, she allowed the entire class to play the game. Johnson was the student that was in the middle of one of the bridges that was created by the two students. Now, the first grade music teacher had turned her back at the time and was facing the blackboard. Now, Johnson was being swung back and forth fast and hard. And with that, he asked the two students to stop swinging him back so fast. The two students didn't stop, and he asked for help. And the teacher did not hear him because all the other students were laughing and playing the game and singing the song. So she couldn't hear the student asking for help. The two students then accidentally unlocked their arms, and student Johnson was flung into a bookshelf and received a head injury. The head injury required 50 stitches, and it caused him to have blurred vision for a time and continual headaches. Now, the trial court said that the school district was at fault here and that the teacher was at fault because she should have been directly supervising those students, at least at the early parts of the game. Maybe not for the entire time, but for the early parts of the game. Now, the school district said that the trial court incorrectly required the teacher to provide direct supervision, which imposed a higher standard of care than that of a reasonably prudent person. The State Supreme Court of Nebraska said no, they were not incorrect, because what they said was she did not necessarily have to have direct supervision over the students the entire time, but for the early stages of the game. So the State Supreme Court agreed with the trial court in that situation, and that a prudent person would have supervised at least for the early parts of that game. The other thing that needed to be addressed by the court was this. It says, we next address whether the school district's negligence was the proximate cause of Johnson's injury or whether the act of the other children constitutes an intervening cause which defeats causation. So they are testing to see if there's an intervening cause, which would then make the school district and the teacher not liable for this accident. Now, the State Supreme Court said in order for the children's accidentally releasing their hands to be an intervening cause, this court must find that the children's act was unforeseeable. We conclude that it is reasonably foreseeable. So the court said that it was reasonably foreseeable of any prudent person that first grade students would get wild, begin to sling students back and forth in a manner that could cause injury. So the teacher should have foreseen this and should have shown more supervision and should have supervised the students more directly early on in the game.